How are you, Swamiji?
I'm good and excited. Thank you.
All right. Let's dive right in. We were discussing just behind the scenes right now at the conclave about how the new generation is all about finding connection, finding purpose. You were describing to me Dreamforce at the Salesforce office in San Francisco and how they actually have a day dedicated to mindfulness. So what does connection really mean today, Swamiji? What does it mean to this new generation?
Sure, thank you. First of all, I would really like to express my gratitude to India Today and the organizer of this conclave for having me over. And yesterday I did follow a couple of sessions, and I must really congratulate the organizing team for having such an incredible lineup and such incredible content, such beautiful insights. So a big round of applause to India Today first for such a beautiful conclave. Secondly, a big round of applause for the wonderful lineup of speakers and guests. Let's do it, guys. And thirdly, a big, loud round of applause for yourselves, because without you and without the people who are watching, you just can't speak what you're sharing, right? So thank you. Uh, but what does that purpose and connection mean to the generation today, or for any generation for that matter? Mark Twain, he said something very interesting. He said there are two most important days in your life. The first is the day when you were born, and the second is the day when you find out why. Now, loads of us do know when we were born, but to be able to figure out why we were born is an existential question. And when we talk about purpose, there's a lot of people who are trying to figure out what is the answer to this question, why was I born? I surely wasn't born to just pay 30% income taxes. I surely wasn't born just to pay mortgages, liabilities. I surely wasn't born just to escalate myself to the highest rungs of the corporate ladder and feel that achievement and put my chest out and say, hey, I made it. I surely wasn't born just to do that. There's probably something more that I was born for.
Sure. But Swamiji, you yourself said that 99% of people have to work and do work that they don't actually enjoy, that doesn't actually fulfill their sense of purpose.
Correct.
But they have to eat.
Yes, absolutely.
So then what's the solution to a happy life?
Absolutely. I must give you a simple, how many of you guys have deadlines to meet with? Oh, brilliant. What a word, isn't it? Deadlines. Has anybody ever called it a lifeline? By the time you cross that line, what happens? Dead. Has anybody here been a victim of workplace politics, please? Okay, thank you. Some guys are saying, sir, हाथ कैसे उठाएंगे? जो politics करता है, बगल में बैठा है. I'm so sorry about that. Has anybody here been under tremendous pressure and stress? Performance pressure and stress? Brilliant. Thank you for being so honest. Showing your hands right up there. There was a poultry farm once, and the owner of the poultry farm came to the poultry farm and started speaking to all the hen, saying, look, I'm giving you so many grains and you're only laying 2 eggs a day. Next Monday on, I want you to lay 10 eggs a day. That's called performance pressures. You want the bucks, lay the eggs, guys. All the hen came together. And they started talking. One of the hens said to the other, last week I just secured an admission for my little chick at Yale. And I need to pay the fees and the scholarship, so I need the grains. The other one said, I just purchased a little house in Malabar Hill. Mortgages to be paid, so no choice, I need to lay 10 eggs. The next Monday, the poultry farm owner came in. He saw every hen there laying 10 eggs, except one. He looked at the fellow and said, look at all your colleagues. They're laying 10 eggs. You're laying only one. The fellow said, thank God, I'm laying at least one. Otherwise, I'm a rooster. I'll tell you what, guys. Under performance pressure, even roosters have to lay eggs, bloody eggs. And what do I mean by laying eggs under performance pressure? Doing something that I don't love. Doing something that I'm not cut for. doing something that I'm absolutely not passionate about. I traveled the world speaking to big corporate houses, and it's not an exaggerated number. Over 80% of the professionals who are working out there are getting a thick, fat paycheck because they're so absolutely phenomenally great at what they do, but they're not fulfilled with what they do. They're not satisfied with what they do. I was sharing with Abha an equation that if you're working for about 8 hours a day, average, and if you have a 5 days work week, you spend 40 hours a week at your workplace. If you have 2 weeks a holiday in a year, which is 50 weeks you're working for, you spend about 2,000 hours at your workplace. And if you're working for an average of about 45 years, you spend a bloody 90,000 hours at your workplace. And that's a daunting number. 90,000 hours account to about 10 years of your life. And I have a simple question. Am I going to be spending 90,000 hours in misery? Doing something that I'm paid for, but I'm not fulfilled with? I took that leap. I jumped out of the corporate world. I left Hewlett-Packard to chase something that I love to do, but I definitely do not advocate that. My principle that I talk to people about is get paid for what you're great at, and also side by side add to your life what you love, your passion, even if it is by the side. Because passion doesn't pay your bills immediately. Passion doesn't pay your mortgages and financial liabilities immediately. So it's easy to say that I need to be satisfied with what I do, but we live in the real world. So love what you do and do what you love.
I love that saying and that philosophy, Swamiji, but how do you explain this to the world's big corporates? Are they understanding this? Because, we were having that conversation just yesterday about the gig economy and flexi work and the future of work. Are large organizations, global organizations today, listening to this and the fact that this is what today's individual desires?
I think they definitely, like I speak at a lot of corporate events, so the very fact that they're inviting me to speak at this corporate event means there is some space for thoughts like these. But at the same time, I really do not think it's a priority as of now. Because only when something is a priority, that's when you take it seriously. Where attention goes, energy flows. Right? And when we're talking about leadership, I've always felt it's something like this. Like I say, when you talk to managers, you get a feeling that they are important. Yeah. And when you speak to leaders, you get a feeling that you are important. And I think leadership is about creating that sense of importance. Leadership is about creating that sense of care, because every individual out there is saying, I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. And Richard Branson, he said something incredible. He said, train your people so well that they can leave you. But treat your people so well that they don't want to leave you. People are going to stay, be loyal, and going to be around only when they're treated well. Nobody wants to be treated like a doormat. I don't think anybody has hatred that you grow. But people have a visceral hatred when your growth comes at their cost. Like I often say, there was this gentleman, he came in his new Mercedes, and his subordinate opened the door for him. He said, what a fantastic car, sir. Incredible. Fascinating. The guy said, well, if you work hard, if you work like 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, you don't take any leaves, any holidays, next year, I'll have a better car than this. So I really do not think people have a problem with your car. But when you have a car and I'm still a bay car, that's where the problem is. And which is why when we're talking about leadership, it's a principle of care, it's a principle of concern, and I think there is definitely increased awareness. And today is the world of social media. People don't keep quiet. We are in a time with unlimited possibilities. We are in a time with unlimited scope to express ourselves. People don't keep quiet. So in a time and an age where expression of opinions is at its zenith, I think the awareness is increasing, and probably slowly we are looking at maybe a slow change, but a change.
Are the steps to success different today? What are the key steps to success?
The three steps to success. Number one, let's get the facts right. Success is not just about achievements. There's this narrative that the more you have, the more successful you are. But I know people who have a lot and have serious mental health issues. I consider that a failure. I know about, we just lost Mr. Rakesh Junjunwala, and we remember what he said. Remember his words. He said, I have about $5 billion worth. And he said, I only wish God gave me better health. If I have all the money in the world and my mental health is at stake, my emotional health is at stake, my physical health is at stake, my spiritual health is at stake, my social health is at stake, am I successful? So let's not make one element of success as success. Yes, achievements and financial success is a very crucial element, but not the element. You know, a balance. And having paid attention to all of these aspects is when we can truly call ourselves successful. Like one gentleman asked someone, what is the difference between the word complete and finished? He said, well, if you find a right partner in your life to get married to, your life is complete. If you get the wrong one, your life is finished. But if the right one catches you with the wrong one, your life is completely finished. Sorry about that. Sorry. But I think when we're looking at, we want to complete everything, isn't it? And which is precisely why it's important we complete our definition of success too, by including those elements that are important for our life, not just for our lifestyle. Achievements and money is about lifestyle. Emotional, mental, social, spiritual health is about our life. And lifestyle and life must go hand in hand. That's when success is completed. And if you're looking at three elements which we really must look at, whatever aspect of success, if you want to be successful, number one is we shouldn't be goal focused, we should be process focused. I see a lot of guys go to the gym. Any of you guys go to the gym? Okay, brilliant. Any of you want to reduce your weight a little bit? Oh God, my God, मेरे एक दोस्त का बहुत बड़ा पेट आया तो मैंने उसको बोला थोड़ा पेट कम कर. उसने मुझे कहा वजन कम करके क्या करना है? एक दिन सबको मरना है. इसीलिए अभी जो भी खाना है खा लो, क्योंकि अगले जन्म में फिर 3 किलो से ही शुरू करना है. That guy needed a whack, trust me. Now, when you go to a gym, I see these younger guys going to a gym and doing bicep curls. That's the only exercise they focus on. Because that's the way to woo girls. Show your guns. So you'll see them go to the gym. I'm going to put the microphone down for a second. Even if you don't hear me, it's fine, guys. They'll do this, and they'll swing. The biceps don't lift the weight at all. It's the body that's lifting the weight. And in the mirror, they're saying, Aaya kya? They should be isolating their biceps and just picking their weight with the biceps, right? So when you're goal focused, you don't get the goal. When you're process focused, you reach there. So whatever it is in your life that you want to achieve, focus on the process. The more consumed you are by the process, there's greater chances you reach the goal than just focusing on the goal and not on the process. The second aspect of reaching that success is to constantly be on the learning curve. There's so much out there in the world to learn. Imagine I'm a monk. I attended 8 of your sessions since yesterday. I attended 8 of your sessions which have nothing to do with my space. Because I'm a learner, right? You know that lady who became a billionaire by writing books? J.K. Rowling. A guy who became a billionaire by selling books? Jeff Bezos, Amazon. And a guy who became a billionaire by reading books? Warren Buffett. Reading, learning. The Dalai Lama once said, if I'm only speaking, I'm repeating what I know. But if I'm listening, I'm always learning something new. So the second aspect of success is constantly being a learner, which means humility, which means vulnerability that I don't know and I need to understand. And number three, a very crucial aspect of success, as mentioned in the book Outliers, is timing. If you're doing the right thing but at the wrong timing, you don't get it. Social media, anyone who was there between 2014 and 17, shut up. That was the time. Now you try to put so much effort, it's so difficult to go there. So you focus on the process, learn, invest, and keep going. Apna time
आ गया.
आएगा. Time such में आ गया.
No, but okay. I had two questions from the audience, which were given to me backstage. One was, and you've always stressed about the importance of relationships, and that's also being a key to happiness. What about marriage? Apart from, of course, having a complete life, but is the concept of marriage now obsolete?
Yeah. I think in the modern world today, so many youngsters, if I ask them, they just don't want to get married. And the reason why they don't want to get married is twofold. Number one is seeing the failures in the institution of marriage. When you see marriage as a failed institution, you lose the drive to do what others did back then. And probably they're seeing examples which didn't work. And trust me, most all of you have been in a relationship, are married, or not married, are in a relationship, and you all know that nothing's perfect out there. No human being's perfect, right? एक लड़की एक पंडित जी के पास गई और कह रही है मुझे शादी करनी है पंडित जी. ऐसे लड़के को क्या कहते हैं जो खूबसूरत हो, हैंडसम हो, पैसे वाला हो, एजुकेटेड हो, एंटरप्राइजिंग हो, उसमें एक ड्राइव हो, क्या कहते हैं ऐसे लड़के को? पंडित जी ने कहा मन का वहम कहते हैं बेटा ऐसे लड़के को. Because an imagination of the mind. You don't get such people, right? So when we are talking about marriage as a failed institution, if we looked at it with expectation of perfection, you're never going to find that. Now, whether you're in a live-in relationship, you're in a married relationship, whatever the relationship is, I feel every relationship needs commitment. You need commitment to a relationship. And when you say commitment to a relationship, it means going through all the ups and the downs. There are going to be times when we hit the rock bottom. And still we need to keep making that investment to make that relationship work. The exception obviously would be when it comes to a very toxic level. When it comes to such levels of toxicity that it jeopardizes our very existence, we need to move away and move on. But in every other case, I feel it's commitment. And I think commitment means time. If you just spend 6 months and say, oh, we're not meant for each other. Well, 6 months is such a short time to be even able to understand somebody. It takes a little while. It takes a little bit of commitment. It takes a little bit of spending time. And that's when we probably even understand each other. Yeah?
And the last question, Swamiji, was in the hurry and chaos of life, how do you find your center? How do you manage to stay calm, not lose control, especially, as you said, when everyone's stressed and harrowed and running around trying to achieve those various goals?
Sure. Thank you. I was walking at Oxford Street in London once, and I saw a gentleman who was wearing a T-shirt, and the T-shirt said, "Do not disturb," and underneath in large font was written, "Already disturbed." Right. Like, what more are you going to disturb me? So I see that each one of our lives is going to have a stimulus, a trigger, a cause, a reason for disturbance. Will there ever be a single day in our life that there's no stimulus for being disturbed? The stimulus could be of a massive magnitude or a smaller one. But there is always going to be something that ruins our peace, that ruins our day, that ruins our state of calm, that affects our mental health in severely negative ways. What do we do to find that peace and that calm? 3 things. Right. I think there's 3 things that we should look at. Number one, we should be looking at what are those things that are within our control. It's what we feed that grows stronger. If I feed my anxiety, it grows stronger. If I feed my peace, it goes stronger. Whatever you feed is going to grow stronger. And how do I feed my anxieties? By constantly focusing on things that are not in my control. things outside. When it comes to the global economic turmoil today, I can do what I can do, but there are factors just completely beyond my control. Individuals at workplace and personal relationships, can you change their natures? No, they're outside of my control. Rather shifting our attention to things that I can do. To feed that means to find that center. Number two is to use all your strength to deal with your issues. There was a man and his daughter, 7-year-old, they were walking on the street and there was a massive tree just fallen on their path. And the little girl said, "Can I move this tree, Dad?" He said, "Of course, if you use all your strength." She tried, she couldn't. She turned to her father, said, "Use all your strength." She tried, she couldn't. He said, "Use all your strength." She still couldn't. She said, "Dad, I'm using all my strength." The man said, "Darling, you're not using all your strength. You're only using your strength. I'm your strength too." Right? So if you're only using your own strength, you're going to be in a pace of disturbance. We need help. We need connections. We need those people who can help us push what we're going through together. And that's when we can come into a space of calm. And the last one, of course, we all need to find that connection, that spiritual connection, that inner connection, which can kind of every single day, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, can help us just enter into that inner space, disconnected from the world of stimulation. That is the way to stay centered and peaceful in a chaotic world.
Swamiji, thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much, Abha.
So many insights packed
Thank
into
you.
that
Thank you.
very short time.
Thank you.